guys, welcome back to another crochet tutorial. Today we are making this little teddy bear baby blanket. I think people call them Loveys. I don't know what a Lovey is, but we're making this teddy bear Lovey. I am actually making this one because the vet that looks after Chunky is going on maternity leave soon. And she always looks after him so well. So I was like, I better make her a little present. I don't know if she's having a boy or a girl, so I just kind of chose this little neutral bow to add here. But this is the blanket. It's just a simple granny square, but I'm going to show you how to make this teddy bear head. I already have a tutorial for this one. I will link it in the description box below. But let's go ahead and make this little cutie. Okay, this is the yarn that I'm using today. This is the Little Nippers chenille yarn from Spotlight. I'm using an 8mm hook with this, and I actually have 2 balls of this. So when I'm making things, I'm going to be attaching 2 pieces of yarn together like this. I decided to just go with a really basic granny square for the main portion of the blanket. I will link a tutorial for this in both the description box below and up along the top here so that you can make this too. It's a really simple pattern. It's just a simple granny square, and I kept going until I found it large enough. For reference, my square is about 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. So if you want to make your blanket the exact same size, it's 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. All right, so to start your little teddy bear head, go ahead and take your yarn, both ends, magic ring. Oh my gosh, my coffee shakes are real this morning, so bear with me, and attach. From here, you're going to put 6 single crochets into this circle. Once you have your 6 single crochets, go ahead and pull on those tail ends to close up your circle. Find that first single crochet and take a slip stitch. And then in that same stitch, we're placing 2 single crochets in the same spot. And we'll be doing that all the way around into every single stitch until you have a total of 12. All right, and once you've made it back to the beginning, after that 12th stitch, go ahead and add a stitch marker. For this next round, you'll be taking 1 single crochet followed by an increase. So place 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So 1 single followed by an increase of 2 single crochets in that same stitch. So take that all the way around until you come back to your stitch marker. Once you're back at your stitch marker, go ahead and remove it. Take a single crochet and replace your stitch marker. This next round will be 2 single crochets followed by an increase in the 3rd stitch. So you'll be placing 2 single crochets here. Again, a single crochet, a 2nd single crochet, and then your increase. So 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and do that all the way around until you meet your stitch marker. All right, and when you make it back to your stitch marker, this is what it should look like. Now this is as big as I'm going to make my teddy bear head. If you wanted to make this bigger, you can continue with your increases. For this next round, you'll take 3 single crochets and then an increase. The round after will be 4 single crochets and then an increase, and you'll just keep going like that until you get kind of the size that you want. I also have made this same pattern for my turtle. I will link it above and also in the description box below. For the next 3 rounds though, you're just taking single crochets into every stitch. So once you've finished your increases, single crochets into every stitch for a total of 3 rounds. So I'm going to leave my stitch marker here so that I know each time, and you're going to do this for 3 rounds. All right, so once you've done your 3 rounds, it should start curving in like this. From here, we're going to start our decreases. So replace that stitch marker, and you're going to decrease opposite to how you increased. So for me, I finished on 2 single crochets and an increase, so that's where I'm going to start. If you ended with like 4 single crochets and an increase, you'll do the same there. So for me, my increases will go single crochet, decrease in this 3rd stitch. So insert your hook, pull through, insert into the next hook, yarn over, pull through, there's 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. One more time, so single crochet, and in this 3rd stitch, insert, yarn over, pull through, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I'm going to continue my decreases this way until I reach my stitch marker. All right, I've made it back to my stitch marker. So now for this next round, it will be 1 single crochet, and I'll just replace that one, followed by a decrease. So for this round, I'm taking 1 single crochet, followed by a decrease, and I'll do that all the way around until I come back to my stitch marker. All right, I've made it back to my stitch marker, and this is what it is looking like. Now is a really good time to go ahead and add your stuffing. And for these next few rounds, you'll just be taking decreases all the way along until this is almost closed. And I like to leave a really long tail end because it will make it easier to sew this on later. Okay, the ears are next. So go ahead and make your magic ring. And in here, you're going to put 6 single crochets. Once you have your 6 single crochets, go ahead and pull on your tail ends. But we're not going to connect this circle. So from here, go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and then in each of these single crochets that we just made, we are placing 2 single crochets into the same stitch. All right, and this is what your ear should look like when you have a total of 12 stitches, and this is the ear. So you can go ahead and tie off your yarn, and you can leave long tails so that you can easily sew your ear on. If you made your bear head bigger, then you can keep going. So you would do the increases again. On a 3rd round, you would do a single crochet followed by an increase, then 2 single crochets and an increase, and just keep going like that. But go ahead and make 2 of these ears and then attach them to your bear head. Okay, for the arm, it's a little bit repetitive, so I've just gone ahead and pre-done 6 single crochets into a magic circle. Go ahead and slip stitch them together. And then you're going to place a total of 12 single crochets, or 2 into each stitch. All right, I've made it back to the beginning. I've just placed a stitch marker in that 12th stitch. Now for the next 5 rows, you're going to take single crochets into every single stitch. So I'm going to leave my stitch marker here so that I can count 5, and then once I've got 5 rows, I'll show you what I've got. All right, and this is what it looks like. I've just replaced my stitch marker, and then now we're going to do 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. So 1 single crochet and a decrease, and we'll do that all the way until we come back to our stitch marker. All right, I've made it back to my stitch marker. For this next round, I'm just going to take single crochets into every stitch. And this is what I have. So I'm happy with this thickness of the arm. So now I'm just going to add some length. So this is kind of like, I don't know if you want to think about it as being like a paw, and then now you want to add length to the arm. So I'm going to add maybe 4 rows here, and then I'll come back and show you what I've got. Okay, so I did my 4 rounds here. You can go ahead and add stuffing now. All right, I have the other arm here. I'm just gonna stuff this one. And once you've made one arm, you're gonna need 2, so go ahead and make your other arm. All right, so this is what my bear looks like now that I've attached the ears. I still have the bottom open, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the stitching or the embroidered eyes and nose now. So for the nose and the face, I'm just gonna be using this plain black acrylic yarn. I wanted it to be super soft, so if you wanted, you could put doll eyes in here, but because it's for a baby, I didn't want it to have any hard kind of sections on it, so I thought it'd be easier just to kind of do this. So I'm just using a needle and some thread, and I think I kind of want it to look like it's sleeping, so I'm going to maybe put his nose here, right in the middle. So this is actually where my first 6 single crochets were. So I'm gonna put his nose here. And I'm not a professional at embroidering, so I'm just gonna go and continue with this and see how it turns out. Okay, cool. This kind of turned out really well. So I've got his little nose and a little kind of sleepy eye. I'm gonna put another one here. And then I'll sew in these ends. Okay, so here I have all of my pieces. I have my blanket, I have the teddy bear head, and the little teddy bear arms. So I've left these tail pieces long enough to be able to attach them, but if you need to, just go ahead and reattach your yarn. But find the center of your blanket. So for me, it's here. You can kind of tell because your crochets are going in those different directions. And this is where I want to place my teddy bear head. So the first thing that I'm going to do is kind of just close up this section a little more. So I'm just going to do some decreased stitches until my teddy bear head is closed. Okay, and now that my teddy bear head is closed, I'm just going to go straight through the middle, and I'm going to take kind of, it's pretty rough, you guys, but I'm just going to take these a couple of those double crochets and slip stitch this teddy bear head on. Make sure that when you're attaching your head, you go through both the front piece and the back piece. Okay, and once that's attached, just go ahead and chain one, pull through and pull tight. And here we have our head attached. Okay, so now I've got his little arms, and I'm going to attach his arms to the sides here in the same way. Alright, so now that my arms are attached, now I just have to go ahead and hide these tail ends in. Alright, I've decided that I want a little bit of color in this. So I just have my yarn here, double strands. So go ahead and take a slip knot. Insert your hook, and I'm just going to make a pretty long chain. Alright, so here is my long chain at the end. Cut your yarn, pull through, and pull tight. I'm going to really secure these ends just by knotting them once more, and then I'm going to feed them back through the chain. And this is what I mean by feeding it back through the chain. I'm just going to insert my hook randomly and pull these yarn pieces through. And I'm going to do that the whole way until they're hidden in my chain. This is what your chain should look like once you've hidden in those tail ends. I'm going to grab my bear, wrap my chain around his neck, and tie a little bow. Now I want to make sure that this stays on, so I'm just going to grab my needle and thread and poke this through and attach it so that it's not going to go anywhere. And that is it, you guys. You have made yourself this cute little bear blanket. Leave me a comment down below if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.